Hello, my name is Andrea Winograd, and I am the Executive Director of the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education. Each year we mark Yom HaShoah, or Holocaust Remembrance Day, at the Rockland County Courthouse in partnership with the Justice Brandeis Law Society and the esteemed legal community of Rockland County. Though the COVID-19 pandemic prevents us from being together in person this year, we are together in spirit to reflect upon this important day of memory. Today, we remember the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust and the millions of others who suffered persecution and death at the hands of the Nazis. This dark history is difficult to confront, but it's crucial that we all, and especially the legal profession, consider what it means to us today. Looking back, the Holocaust was carried out legally in Germany. Lawyers and judges contributed to the legal system that allowed and encouraged genocide against the Jewish people, Roma and Sinti, as well as mass violence and murder against millions of other people and minorities in Europe. Today, in the United States and here in Rockland County, we are fortunate to have a robust and diverse legal community that is committed to ensuring that our democracy upholds a rule of law that protects our society from such evils. We at the museum are proud to stand with our friends in the legal profession who take this responsibility to heart. Thank you for joining us in commemorating today. Now I turn things over to my physically distant but close at heart friend, Paul Adler. Thank you, Paul.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Adler, and I chair the annual Holocaust Remembrance Day, known as Yom HaShoah, in the Rockland County Courthouse each and every year, with the participation of the judiciary of the 9th Judicial District, the Rockland County Bar Association, the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, and the Justice Brandeis Law Society of the 9th Judicial District. While we cannot be in the courthouse this year, we will never, ever forget to remember the lessons and the horrors that we learned from the Shoah. So this year, we will continue with our Holocaust remembrance by having the Honorable Alan Shankman, presiding justice of the appellate term, speak to us. We will have Justice Jeffrey A. Cohn, a member of the appellate term, also speaking to us as chairman of the Justice Brandeis Law Society, Keith Bromfentel, the president of the Rockland County Bar Association, and Dr. Nancy Lohogan. We do this because we have learned from what happened in Nazi Germany that when you don't have a judiciary and lawyers who speak up for the rule of law, you can end up with a dictator like Hitler and the Nuremberg laws that were the very legal foundation for the Holocaust. And today, I also want to extend our gratitude to the good folks at the Office of Court Administration and Commissioner Patty Zappelli, the Commissioner of Jurors, who normally welcomes us into her part of the courthouse each and every year when more than 250 citizens, lawyers, judges, and others join as we once again remember the Holocaust. Today, I am pleased to be able to introduce to you our guest speaker, the Honorable Jeffrey A. Cohn, who will speak to you on behalf of the Justice Brandeis Law Society. And then you will hear, after Jeffrey Cohn, you will hear from the presiding justice, the Honorable Alan Shankman. So on behalf of the Rockland County Bar Association, of which I am a member, the Justice Brandeis Law Society, of which I serve on the executive committee, and the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education, where I serve on the honorary board, I want to thank you for tuning in and for supporting those organizations which always make certain never again and never forget. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Paul. I'm Justice Jeffrey Cohen, Associate Justice of the Appellate Division 2nd Department and President of the Justice Brandeis Law Society, 9th Judicial District. I'm honored and proud that our organization is co-sponsoring the Holocaust Remembrance Day event here in Rockland County once again. Every year on this very solemn day, since the birth of our organization more than a decade ago, the Justice Brandeis Law Society 9th Judicial District has held Holocaust Remembrance events in every county courthouse in the 9th Judicial District: Rockland, Westchester, Dutchess, Putnam, and Orange. As a Jewish Bar Association, we're committed to remember the most horrific period our people have ever endured: the systematic state-sponsored attempt to exterminate the entire Jewish people and others, resulting in the mass killing of over 6 million Jewish lives only some 80 years ago. The evil effort was led and conducted by a modern Western civilization, former democratic state, all within the parameters of what was called the law. We as a Jewish people survived slavery, the Spanish Inquisition, pogroms, and yes, even the Holocaust. And we experienced the rebirth of the State of Israel in 1948 thereafter. Today, yet another challenge for us all. Our hearts, first and foremost, are with everyone that have lost loved ones during this extraordinary pandemic time. COVID-19 has brought worldwide illness, death, and fear of economic collapse, and even a Great Depression, some believe. That was the poisonous recipe which gave rise to fascism and autocracy in Europe just prior to the Holocaust. Unfortunately, as Jews, we all know anything is possible anywhere. Like never before, we must be vigilant in supporting our Constitution. As lawyers, as judges, and as Jews, we must protect and defend our freedom and never forget the Holocaust like never before. We chose Rockland County as the center for this message by our organization this year, especially because in 2019, it was Rockland County which was the epicenter of the scourge, the rise in anti-Semitism in America, just before this other insidious invisible disease, COVID-19, attacked our world. We do not ever forget, and we as a people must protect each other and our brothers and sisters of other minority communities in America. Again, most of all, we wish you peace, shalom, hope, tikva, and good health and security in our homes and nation until this pandemic passes. It is my distinct honor now to introduce Justice Alan Schenkman, a long-standing member of the Justice Brandeis Law Society, the former county attorney of the County of Westchester, former administrative judge of the 9th Judicial District, and now the presiding justice of the Appellate Division 2nd Department, where he oversees all courts of not only our 5 counties, but also Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, Suffolk, and Staten Island. I present to you my friend, colleague, and yes, my presiding justice, Alan Schenkman. Thank you and shalom.
Good day. I'm Alan Schenkman. I am the presiding justice of the Appellate Division 2nd Department. Justice Cohen, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Paul Adler, thank you for inviting me to participate in Rockland County's Holocaust Remembrance Day program. I commend you, Andrea Winograd, and all of the others who have worked so hard and so diligently to make sure that Yom HaShoah is observed and respected, despite the circumstances created by the coronavirus now ravaging the world. This year, the Yom HaShoah event evolved from the planned physical gathering in the Rockland County Courthouse into a virtual assembly in the cloud. And while this was prompted by the present health crisis, in a way, this evolution is part of an ongoing transition in the way we, the living, contemplate the Holocaust. As we humans change and age, what we remember and how we remember changes with us. It is now 75 years since the liberation of Auschwitz and the downfall of Nazi Germany. In the years immediately after the end of the war, the focus, quite rightly, was on caring for the survivors, trying to reunite them with their families, trying to help them rebuild their shattered lives. Our parents and our forebears also concentrated on trying to assess the magnitude of the horror, to document it for posterity, and to hold accountable as many of those responsible as possible. In our time, we have tried to honor the survivors, to help them in their daily existence, to help them keep alive the memory of those who perished, to teach our children about the Holocaust, and to work within our broader communities to prevent such a thing from happening again. We recognize, sadly, that the number of living survivors is getting smaller and smaller with the passage of 75 years. As we hear the stories about the horrific impact that the coronavirus has had in nursing homes and assisted living facilities, I cannot help but wonder whether this disease is adding yet another trauma to the frail and elderly who have already suffered through so very much. But remembrance cannot stop with the memories of those who actually lived through the horrific events, nor can it stop with us. Remembrance is increasingly in the hands of our children and future generations. It is vital that we Jews always remember. It is critical that all Americans remember. We have always asked, how could such a thing have happened? If we ever stop asking that question, we risk a repetition. While the Holocaust was conceived at a high level by a twisted, evil political leadership, it could not have been implemented except with the cooperation, or at least tacit indifference, of ordinary people. People who were influenced to actively participate or to refrain from objecting because of fear, anti-Semitism, careerism, peer pressure, and the opportunities created for material gain. We associate the Holocaust with the fear and anger brought about by the economic dislocations of the Great Depression. In looking at it this way, we can see parallels in the reaction to today's health crisis. Fearful people have looked for scapegoats. Many have lost jobs or businesses. Much of our country is under some form of home confinement, and people are resentful, and they are reacting. Some have sought to put the blame on Bill Gates, the Microsoft founder, simply because he sought to alert the world a few years ago to the harm that a global pandemic might cause. Some are blaming state governors for taking precautions to protect the public health. And true to form, some blame Jews, partly because one of the initial hotspots was in a modern Orthodox community in my hometown of New Rochelle, in Westchester County. I have hope and faith that our children and their children will remember the lessons of the Holocaust, that we will resist the temptation to scapegoat, that we will search for answers to today's problems rationally and together, and that we will also remember that even during the bleakest times during the Holocaust, there were individuals who did not give in to the opportunities and temptations to portray their fellow human beings. As horrific as the Holocaust was, the Jewish community, though diminished in number and by sadness, survived it. We were not destroyed. Complicity in evil acts, even in extraordinary times, is not obligatory. And most important, an enduring lesson is that good will triumph over evil. Thank you very much for allowing me to share these thoughts with you. Please stay safe and healthy, and this too shall pass.
We light this candle for humanity, for those who came before us and those who will come after us. We recognize the power of our work, lives, and collective humanity. In times of catastrophe and crisis, we must highlight the strength and resilience of the human spirit to see us through. Today, we embrace those around us and put faith in their hearts.
Hello, my name is Keith Braunfatel. I am the president of the Rockland County Bar Association. I have been given the opportunity to light the candle for hope. We light this candle in the name of hope. With eyes wide open, we choose to see the goodness in humanity and to believe it shall overcome evil in the world. Even amidst suffering, we know that the smallest light will find its way to illuminate a path of hope for each person who seeks it. Today, we remember the past, acknowledge the present, and work towards a brighter future together. Thank you.